A very good evening to everyone from My Exam Plan. Welcome to this webinar of Beyond IITs. Miss these 15 promising options at your own risk. We have as presenters Nilesh, who is a co-founder of My Exam Plan.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, this is Nilesh.
And myself, this is Tarun. I'm also a co-founder at MyExamPlan. We basically are a unique setup that helps students discover opportunities that they otherwise tend to miss. This webinar is also designed to, sort of bring in awareness to parents and students about, opportunities. We have basically the Q&A section enabled. I'm sure you'd all see it on the side in your screen. And we would take questions towards the end. You could type in all your questions during the session, but we will try and answer it at the end of the webinar.
And one request, hi, this is Nilesh again here. One request. Please do not try to note down anything because all this information anyway will be provided to you with much more details in a separate e-booklet. So I would request and suggest that you just focus on the dialogue and what we are talking about.
So, just a quick, note. While we have this platform called My Exam Plan for students and parents, we have a separate platform for schools and counselors that addresses, their particular needs. So if there are any school counselors or individual counselors, please do write to us separately, and we will share some details with them. So our ID to communicate is info, INFO, @myexamplan.com. So, let's start with the context here on, this paradox that we have in India, that while, 12 lakh students appear for the IITs, there's only about 12,000 odd seats in many of the IITs, or all of the IITs taken together. That's probably 1%, success rate into the IITs. But the interesting fact, as you can see in your slides there, is that 30,000 engineering seats are vacant. And as per a recent report, 800 colleges are going to close down. So this is very strange. You have at one end of the spectrum an extreme competition. Everyone wants to get in there. The door is too small. And at the other extreme, it's so vacant, it's so empty that the colleges are shutting down. So what is the right thing to do? I mean, should we chase the 1%? Is the question we are trying to address.
And these 800 colleges, we are not talking of any general colleges. We are talking particularly of engineering colleges in India.
So here in the next 40-45 minutes, we will try and share information that is different to the IITs, but are very worthy for you to consider in your plans if you're a parent or a student. So let's begin with a small poll. So you would get, a small little...
The basic question, essentially, just to know who all do we have on the platform with us today evening.
Yeah, so just quickly, you could respond to the poll that will pop up in your screens. I'll probably give you about 5-10 seconds. All right, so I'm just closing that poll. So let's move on to an interesting topic here. I know many of you are from Delhi, and Delhi University is always in the news. Delhi University is a central university, so that basically means that it is not under the state, or it's not a private university. It is being run by the central government. Most of the Delhi University news that you see is regarding the admissions via the cutoffs, and you'd see all kinds of percentages that come out in terms of how difficult it is to get in. But Delhi University, little known stuff is that they have a cluster innovation center wherein they offer Bachelor of Technology in IT and Mathematical Innovations. It's a very interesting program, and students who are interested in software engineering and mathematics can apply for this BTech program. Interesting though is that the admissions are via an entrance exam.
In fact, Delhi University, you will find it's a little confusing stuff. Otherwise, they have a lot of programs where you hear about those 98, 99% kind of cutoffs. In fact, at one point of time, it went to 101% also. Yes, 101%, because people had 100% scores, and then they had extracurricular and Olympiads and all those things giving them weightages and things like that. So that's one part. But on the other hand, these niche programs, besides, of course, the BBA, BBEs, is this BTech, where you have 40 seats. There's a separate entrance examination, which is fiercely competitive, of course. And it will get announced somewhere around in the month of May or June. That's when you have to apply and run through it. And as it's mentioned there, it's a 2-hour online entrance exam with multiple questions. So that's one good opportunity one can definitely look at.
Just a quick note for all of you who are in this webinar. The opportunities that we are talking about, all the 15 of them have all India eligibility. So what basically that means is whichever part of India you are in, the ones that we are going to show you is something that you all can apply for. So if your questions are, am I eligible or not? Like, is there domicile things? All the ones that we are showing you will have, scope for all of you to apply. Yeah?
So you'll not find that written here, but we have purposely chosen them accordingly.
Okay, so let's move on to a very interesting other opportunity. Some of you may have heard this, but in passing, but you might wonder about this opportunity we're bringing in. It's the ISI, the Indian Statistical Institute in Kolkata. And this was established in 1931. And it's one of the foremost centers in the world for research in computer science and statistics. In fact, some of you wouldn't know that this was the model on which the US set up its first Institute of Statistics. So that's how reputed ISI Kolkata is, and they have a B-Stat and a B-Math program for students after class 12th. So this is for students who like mathematics, who are strong in that, have a passion for that. The program is fantastic, difficult to get in, but it's students like your ward. So if you're a student listening to it, you are the ones who usually get into these, but you need to know about this.
And now this has 50 seats in each of the two programs in Kolkata and Bangalore, as was mentioned earlier. And applications procedure will start as early as sometime in January, and February will be the closing time. And as Tarun just mentioned, there's a written entrance exam. But it is not just a written entrance exam, as is mentioned. They have a weightage of written entrance exam plus interview and then the academic record. But since this is a highly mathematics-oriented, focused program, there are relaxations, or I would say rewards, given to students who are INMO qualified, the Indian National Mathematics Olympiad qualified students. They don't have to sit for the entrance exam. They straight away appear for the interviews. A very, very promising program if you want to make a career with mathematics.
And just to add there, students of ISI typically end up, in the top universities of US for their post-graduation. And, they also are well sought of by the Googles and the Facebooks of the world because of the mathematics, their expertise in that. Because the people who actually write the algorithms for such companies are not software engineers, but are mathematicians. So let's move on. All right. I think if we have parents in here, you would recollect that, during in the last 15, 20 years when, the parents and I myself included, we used to hear about marine engineering as a program being offered at TS Chanakya. That was at that time. But we have right now the government of India, the Ministry of Shipping, setting up a university called Indian Maritime University. So it is centrally run, central government university. They have various programs under marine and naval architecture in the BTech programs. They have BScs in shipbuilding, maritime science, nautical science, etc. It's a great, I would say, opportunity for students who'd like to venture out in the world, especially the marine engineering programs. This is the premier program, in fact, in India. And there is a lot of funds available in IMU, and which allows the best curriculum, the best faculty for those students. So it's spread across 5 campuses. And it also has a few affiliated institutes, especially for the BSc programs.
And there are about quite a lot of seats there. They have a separate entrance examination, and the entrance examination sometimes is announced. It's written March to April, but it could also come out sometime in February. I mean, these things keep changing, but that is the time you can expect the announcements. To be made. And it's a 3-hour online exam, as is mentioned. The best part about the program, one thing is it's a very, very premium institute, probably the foremost institute in the country for marine engineering and naval architecture. Secondly, this is one course which gets you into the shipping corporations, the major shipping multinational organizations in the world. And this is a field which will never see any downtrend, because almost 80% of the global business happens through the marine routes. And it is one career where, it is believed that if you work for 10 years in a merchant navy organization, you can simply afford to retire. That's the kind of promising career line that it offers.
Great. Good. I think we're moving at a good pace because we've got a lot of stuff to cover. Now, here's a very, very unique institution called the International Institute of Information Technology, Hyderabad. Now, I would like to say it's a IIIT, but most of the other IIITs are government, institutes, autonomous government institutes, whereas the IIIT is a private public partnership institute. In fact, on the board of the IIIT Hyderabad are the luminaries of the Indian industry. They are the ones who are giving directions and guiding this institute. So much so, I would be, in fact, we've also written that the placements are sometimes even better than the IITs. I know you might be thinking, what is this guy talking about? But that's a reality. The IIIT program, especially the 5-year dual degree in BTech, computer science, and MS by research in computational linguistics, is an extremely unique program. Artificial intelligence, machine learning is basically married into linguistics, and that is a very, very promising program. It's, again, difficult to get in, but not impossible.
And naturally, it's extremely competitive because it's a very, very premium program. As per my knowledge, probably not offered by any other institute in the country as on date. And there are only 15 seats, so it's a fairly competitive exam. To get admission is definitely tough, but then so is the case with the IITs or other premium institutes. And their applications would be announced sometime in the month of March. And I would suggest you keep a serious eye on this. It's a very, very upcoming area about computational linguistics.
All right, the fifth opportunity we'd like to share is for the PCM students is Chennai Mathematical Institute. You might wonder, are we talking about shady institutes, which is in the in the corners of the streets that we usually see. No, this is one of the most premier mathematics institutes in India. It is an autonomous institution and a deemed university, so it gives its own degree. UGC has awarded it the privilege to do so. It offers BSc honors in mathematics and computer science and BSc honors in mathematics and physics. You might wonder, why should we recommend a BSc honors in mathematics and computer science when a lot of students may want BTech in computer science? Here's my 2 cents. If you're planning to do a BTech in computer science from institutes other than the IITs, the top IIT or the NITs, then rest of the institutes, there is a very, very large struggle to sort of showcase yourself and your talents. But if you pursue degrees from institutes like the one we're showing here, Chennai Mathematical Institute, you are recognized as a very, very serious player in the mathematics domain. And just like as in the case of ISI, you would be, sort of a privileged entrant into, Ivy League universities if you apply there in US for higher studies, or even the top, IT and technology companies in India would not mind you as an architect in their organization. So and look at the fee. I mean, tuition fee is 250 rupees per semester, plus you get additional, contingency grants.
Yeah, there are scholarships and contingency grants provided by these funding agencies, ISIs, TFI, TIFRs, and a lot of commercial organizations as well, which fund a lot of their research chairs and other programs. So very, very coveted programs. But yes, again, limited seats, 14 each one of them, and a separate entrance exam. I mean, for that matter, any premium college or any premium course worth its salt, where the students are very, very sought after by the university, generally will filter out students on their own. I mean, that's been a fight all the time. There has to be some way of filtering students for specific streams. They don't even take JEE mains or JEE-Advanced because the focus here essentially is typically on the mathematics side. So as you will see, even the questions cover only the arithmetic, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and calculus, nothing else. But then again, National Science Olympiad winners are exempted from the entrance exam, and look out for their notifications sometime in the month of March. Difficult to get in, but very, very sought after. And the moment you are out, industry is like after you.
Okay, the next set of institutes we have for you is the Indian Institutes of Science, Education and Research. A short form is IISER. There are 7 of these which are there in India, run by the government, Ministry of Human Resource Development. They are an institute of national importance. So like the IITs, like AIMS, IISER is an institute of national importance. They offer a 5-year integrated BS and MS in basic sciences. They have a huge financial outlay, 5 billion rupees per year. So that's a lot of money that is invested. That basically lots of facilities, faculties, etc. The interesting part is the admissions to these. There are 3 modes of getting in. Nilesh will talk to you about those.
Yeah, they were very, 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 very selective channels. Half the seats they fill through KVPY and JEE, and rest half through the state boards. Essentially, KVPY, hopefully you will all be aware of its Kishore Vaikhanik Protsahan Yojana, which is run by the Department of Electronics, Government of India, to promote students to join research programs in basic sciences. I mean, if you are a KVPY qualified student, you get scholarship of around 5,000 rupees a month while you are doing your BSc, plus 20,000 rupees per annum grant for research contingency. And subsequently in MSc, you get 7,000 plus probably 25,000 rupees a month. So that is one of the channels. You must be a KVPY qualified candidate, or you have to be qualified in the merit of JEE-Advanced, or you have to be one of the toppers of any of the central or state boards. There's no other way you can get into any of the IISERs, but even for the state and central board channel, these two toppers, the students have to go through an IISER's aptitude test, which is not the case if you have gone through KVPY or the JEE-Advanced. And if somebody here attending the webinar today happens to be a student of class 12 in the current session, then mind you, KVPY for this year has already been announced, and in fact, the application for KVPY is already over, not for IISERs, but KVPY entrance exam, the date for the current batch of class 12 is already over. 23rd August was the last date to apply.
Okay, so along the lines of IISER is another abbreviation you'd see. It's NICER. So NICER is better than IISER, or IISER is better than NICER. I think it's debatable. But the interesting point is, this is again run by the Department of Atomic Energy. So Government of India is actually funding this institute. It's a 5-year integrated MSc in basic sciences. So you have to take a basic science program in this institute. You've got the best of the faculty available at NICER Bhubaneswar and CBS Mumbai. You get people from the BARC, Baba Atomic Research Center, IIT Bombay, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. These are the people who are coming as faculty to NICER. So you can well imagine the kind of I would say curriculum you'd have there. As I also have mentioned in the slide here, most easily get admitted to top US universities for research if you're here. So the point I'd also try to make is the days of entering into a BTech program and getting a campus selection is over. Yeah. Yes, they are there, far and few, if you're from the top IITs. And of course, some of these institutes that we are showing, you would still have that opportunity to get a job immediately after campus. But most, if you're trying to pursue programs from other institutes, there is a huge amount of challenge today. There is an oversupply of engineers. So these kind of institutes are your gateway to the future.
Definitely, yes. So that's the information on the number of seats. There's 170 in IISER in Bhubaneswar and 45 in Center for Excellence in Basic Sciences in University of Mumbai, funded by Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. Watch out for the notifications in January, February. Again, national entrance screening test, separate, independent of their own. They don't care two hoots about anybody else. They have their own independent entrance exams. And then further stringencies, 5 sections, and within each section you have to meet a certain specified score for you to get into it.
Great. All right, so we sort of are on a binge for mathematics and sciences. I'm sure you might be wondering, but this is the era for research. This is the era wherein people are moving into pure research, pure sciences. A lot of funds coming in, and another institute that makes the mark for us is the Institute of Mathematics and Applications, Bhubaneswar. We go to a lot of seminars we conduct a lot of seminars in schools in and around Delhi. We find students are not aware of these programs. Students from all across India are eligible, run by the government, and it's basically a BSc Honors in Mathematics and Computing. Fantastic program and curriculum. It sets a very strong base for students in here for getting into mathematics or research or employment in the domain of mathematics.
I mean, you can see the areas mentioned here. I mean, the kind of electives which are offered: bioinformatics, artificial intelligence, cryptography. I mean, this is not a typical algebra or a geometry or trigonometry you are going to study in these institutes, which may generally be the case in most of the BSc mathematics programs in general universities. These are institutes specifically focused on mathematical modeling, applications, industrial applications, commercialization, and utilization in the upcoming areas. So that's what makes these programs very different and hence worthy of being captured here and being shared with you.
Yeah, just to add, I know to be segmented, we are, I and Nilesh run a startup, for argument's sake. Startups don't need software engineers in the beginning. We need architects. We need modelers who model, the system. So the startups coming out in India would be seeking the talent coming out of these kind of institutions. We ourselves have hired, mathematical experts from who would, of course, conducting their PhD in various top universities. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the prospects for these students coming out of these institutes is very bright, given the environment that is panning out in India at the moment.
So again, only 30 seats, where of course reservations may also apply. So for general categories, I don't know, sure, probably 15 to 20 is what will finally get left out for general category candidates. But well, for my child, I need only one seat. So that's how I look at it. So, and April, May is the time when you will see the notifications coming out, and sometime in May or June is when the entrance exam will be conducted. Till last year it was offline. This year, I don't know, they might make it online.
Just a note here, most of the entrance exams, barring maybe a couple of them, have centers across India. So it's not that, if IOMA is in Bhubaneswar, then the center of this entrance exam is in Odisha. No, they are the centers, at least last year, were in Delhi and some other cities as well. So watch out for these kind of opportunities, students. I know you may not, find it too exciting, but our idea is to put the seed in your head so that you go back and start doing research, read up these things.
You will get quite a lot more information in the document about these opportunities and the institutes that we are going to share with you, which will help you fairly well assess and establish how worthwhile these opportunities are. And rest of the information about tracking and other things, of course, you can find on the website, which we'll talk about maybe a short while later for a minute.
All right, so now here's for all those aeronautics fans. I know a lot of students in PCM are fascinated by aeronautics and aero modeling, avionics, etc. They just love flying. I used to love them. But one of the best institutes today to get in to do your BTech in aerospace is the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology. This is in Trivandrum, or Thiruvananthapuram as they call it. It is, interestingly, a deemed university and under the aegis of the Department of Space, Government of India. So again, we are talking about government opportunities here. We're not talking about aerospace or aeronautics in Manipal. I know you all know all that stuff. But here's something that the government is offering, Department of Space, which is the premier thing for you to put some non-living and living thing in the outer space, is the one that's running these programs. It's got 5-year dual degree programs in physics, solid state physics, astronomy and astrophysics, earth science and optical engineering, everything related to science, space science, rockets, and material science related to avionics. So great program. You also get absorption as an option into ISRO if you would like to do that.
In fact, this is. I actually avoid and hate putting rankings in any of my talks because they have their own, I would say, flavors. But I can definitely say this is probably the #1 institute in the country if you wish to make a career in space sciences, avionics, aeronautics, or any of the related fields, run by the Government of India. The entire education is free, and immediately after completion of your course, Indian Space Research Organization and Department of Space have the first right to absorb you. If they offer a job, you got to serve them, and they take you as a Class 1 gazetted officer straight away. So that's the kind of opportunity it offers. But again, limited seats. Admission is based on JEE-Advanced. So naturally, it's a tough proposition. Till about 2012, they were they had their own independent entrance examination, but now they have clubbed it and taking it based on JEE-Advanced. So the timelines will be in accordance with the JEE.
Yeah, Nilesh, in fact, there's just a little bit of a tidbit for you. The entry-level salaries as a scientist see in Department of Space is somewhere near a lakh, of rupees per month. And, even in the top Wipros and the Infosys, if you get in, you wouldn't manage that salary.
Okay, now that you mentioned, let me tell you, Tarun is talking this from his personal experience because he is the son of a scientist in IISER. That's the info. It's coming directly from the horse's mouth.
All right, all my secrets are out. All right, I think we just do a quick,
another small poll.
Little poll for you. Again, a few options would come on your screen. Just quickly go through that. Yeah. So here, when we say government rankings, it is the NIRF ranking by the Ministry of HRD. Five seconds. All right, just close the poll. So, the reason for that is, as some of you have actually mentioned, the Indian Institute of Science, which is a deemed university, has been ranked #1 consecutively by NIRF. So in 2016 and in 2017. I think it is one of the top few, Nilesh, in the QS ranking, global ranking also,
well.
Yes, from India.
Yes.
And they have, usually students think that IISc offers only postgraduate programs, but, they offer a 4-year BSc in research. Of course, it's a research institution with the option of earning an MSc in additional 1 year. So instead of taking, 2 years for MSc, you could earn a BSc and an MSc combined.
But of course, in BSc, you spend 4 years because it's not the traditional BSc. It's a BSc research focused program where the 4th year is completely research dissertation project.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of industry interface involved there.
Right.
And as you can see, founded in 1909. It's more than 100 years old niche university, and makes it to some of the, even in the QS top global rankings, IISc is one of the institutes that makes it.
Another thing that we just wanted to share, if you think some of the opportunities that we shared may have a JEE mains or an advanced, as one of the ways to get admission, but please remember these institutes have to be applied to separately. That means one student may have taken a mains or an advanced, but they would have to go to the IISc site when the applications are open, and apply separately using their scores. So it's not part of the joint counseling.
Yeah, it's not part of the JOSA, the Joint Seat Allocation Authority, or the CSAT, the Central Seat Allocation Board. So that's one thing one needs to be slightly careful about, because we have heard many cases where students were not aware of this, scored fairly high even in the JEE-Advanced, or even they were KVPY scholars, but they did not know that they have to apply separately to some of these top institutes for admission because they don't participate in the common seat allocation activity. So that's one word of caution, I would say. So 120 seats in all, and February, March is the time when those applications would need to be made, and maximum of 2 attempts allowed.
Okay, another gem that we would like to share is about the Indian Institute of Engineering, Science and Technology in Kolkata. This basically is the second oldest engineering college established in India. The first was IIT Roorkee as we know it, by the Britishers, and in 1856 the IIEST as we know it today was set up by the Britishers. And it has BTech in 10 disciplines. Seats are spread between West Bengal candidates and All India candidates. It's an institute of national importance by the government, so it's not a state government-run institute. It's a national level institute. And as you can see here, this was recently taken over by the government because of the kind of institute and the importance that it has in bringing out the best students.
So generally, you will find people in eastern side, of course, are definitely pretty well aware of. But given the size of the country and the complexity of the educational ecosystem that we have, more than 850 universities and things like that, people in other regions of the country, we find the awareness level about this is relatively low. Although they have good enough number of seats, 590, out of which, of course, 50% are for home state West Bengal. But still, that leaves about 300 seats open for all India, which is a fairly good number. And their applications are through the seat allocation is through the Joint Seat Allocation Authority, because they take students based on the JEE mains ranks. So I would say this is something which is, I would suggest people to definitely have a serious look at this.
Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you would have a Q&A, little box on the side. You can put in your questions in there, and we would take those questions towards the end if we have time. The next in our sequence today is Coimbatore Institute of Technology in Tamil Nadu. It's an autonomous institute and it's affiliated to Anna University. All the technical institutes in the state of Tamil Nadu are affiliated to Anna University. That's how the structure there is. But this is an all India eligibility seat wherein they offer MSc in software systems, data sciences, and decision and computing science. The reason we put in here the program is data science is a very, very specific and specialized program that not too many institutes have the caliber to offer. However, the CIT and some of the IITs offer such programs. We thought it was worthwhile because there is an all India eligibility out here. And it's got a very good reputation from a perspective of employability.
And Anna University anyway is also ranked pretty high even as per the NIRF. Yeah. And as Tarun mentioned, these are very, very specialized programs on the data science and decision and computing sides. In fact, as we mentioned a few minutes earlier also, you have all the things coming up online. You see an advertisement, you go to an online shopping site, you see a product today, 10 days later, you're again on... you're again online, you're doing something else on some other website, and suddenly the advertisement of the same product comes up on the site. How does that happen? It is a decision and computing science running behind that. It is the mathematical modeling which is running behind that. So it's a very, very promising future offering kind of a proposition. And they have about 60 seats in each of the 3 specializations offered. And 3 parameters of selection. There's a common entrance test. Then there's an interview which has some other weightage. Plus, they also consider your class 12 score.
In the same line, staying in the southern hemisphere right now, after Coimbatore is Pondicherry University, a central government university. So it's like Delhi University. It's an open university in terms of, who can apply. So there is a fantastic program, 5-year integrated MSc in applied geology. It may sound unglamorous for some of you, but if you're a student there listening to this webinar, let me just clarify that applied geology is a hot topic, especially in the areas of science, technologies, remote sensing, geoinformatics, etc. Lots of companies, MNCs, and other bodies, including Europe and the US, have a requirement for specialists in geosciences. So applied geology is a very specific and a very high demand program. The university, being a central university, is of extreme repute, and which is why it has MOUs with one of the top, a lot of top universities across the northern hemisphere there. And
so you have all the petroleum companies, all the mining exploration entities, everybody into geomapping, geosciences, research programs, or all these niche area corporations are the one who will typically pick up all these students. And geology, I mean, don't relate it with just like the geography that you read in class 9th and 10th. It's very, very different. And it's only the PCM students who are eligible here. Going further, again, sorry, only 31 seats. So definitely difficult to get into. Again, their own independent entrance examination, and timeline is somewhere around in the month of April.
Okay, now we're going to talk about NIIT, which is basically the National Institute of Electronics and Information Technology. It's an autonomous society run by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Earlier, they did not have a full-fledged program in technology, but they have started a BTech from the Aurangabad campus. It's a very good program, given that the ministry is sponsoring this entire program, and it's got a very good placement record. It's a BTech, and what else would you require? I mean, it's a reputed, run by the ministry, has very low fee, has a good program, and has got a good placement rate.
60 seats in the formal program. Besides this BTech, of course, there are a lot of other skill development and electronics related programs through various other training centers. But this was started a few years ago, and they're finding fantastic placements. And our admission is via JEE means. So any student anyway who is aspiring to get into engineering field will definitely be writing JEE mains in any case. And so since it is via JEE mains, the application timelines will accordingly be in sync with the same, somewhere around in the month of May and June.
All right. So
we're back to IITs.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about some interesting program being offered by IITs. Now you might wonder that we put our title as Beyond IITs. Well, yes, but this is a teaser program. It is conducted by IITs. It's not a BTech program. It is a bachelor's in design, and not a fashion design, but product design. So if you're designing a Ferrari, or if you plan to design an Apple iPhone, then you need product designers for that. IIT Bombay is the premier institute of product design in India. They were offering masters in product design until a few years back. They have now started a bachelor's of product design, a 4-year program, just like the BTech. So IIT Bombay, IIT Guwahati, IIIT and Jabalpur, and IIIT Delhi are now offering programs based on this particular concept. So it's not a JEE based program. It is a design program by the IITs and IIITs. Again, not too many of you may have heard of it. Interestingly, Nilesh, the announcement is out.
In fact, the admission is neither through JEE mains nor through JEE-Advanced. There's a separate undergraduate common entrance examination in design, UCEED, which is conducted by IIT Mumbai. And for the current class 12 batch, the the pre-notice has just been released, and the prospectus and applications. Prospectus will also be released, and applications will begin from 9th of October. This is one of the programs, probably it's one of the first ones, first entrance exams to happen. And before you even realize, before you even start thinking on those lines, you find that the exam is already over. So 9th October is the applications will begin, and the entrance exam will be conducted somewhere in the month of January itself. So watch this out. And there are some very interesting further facts to be taken note of here. Currently, these 3 institutes, IIT Mumbai, IIT Guwahati, IIIT and Jabalpur, and IIT Delhi, accept students through USEED, The first 3 takes only through USEET. IIT Delhi takes half of them through USEET and half of them through JEE mains, because the ones that they take through USEET, in those seats they allow even the non-science students, but in rest of them only the science students are allowed. Then there are further interesting things, like if IIT Mumbai, which is the de facto champion in product design courses, allows students of any stream to get into this program, whereas IIT Guwahati does not. They necessarily need PCM students. But IIT Mumbai allows even the non-science students. But as far as taking USEET entrance exam is concerned, students of any stream can attempt. But in admission, they may have limitations. But since today we are talking essentially to the PCM stream, they have no limitations. They can get into any one of these. But the route is not JEE. The route is USEET, which is already announced, with the applications beginning from 9th of October in the next month. Very, very, very promising program, in fact.
Right. So that sort of wraps up our 15 institutes that we wanted to talk to you about. The idea being that we are, we would want to tinker you about, an option that is beyond IIT and IITs, IIITs, and also, from the usual Manipals, VITs, which are the backups for many students.
But those are the most advertised ones, I would say.
Yeah. So none of these institutes that we showed would have one-page advertisements in the newspaper. They would be small little ones hidden. They don't need to be advertised. They are sought after by the people who know about them. So, I'm sure you are one of the few now who have joined that gang of people who know. And these are quiet in terms of, the applications. Many of them would just quietly come in and go. And you would need to be aware in terms of when these applications are coming in. So that's where we come in. What's our take in this whole process? While we cover about 350 odd entrance exams, our subscribers with timely alerts, whether it is SMS or email, so that they do not miss such opportunities. They get all the latest blogs and updates. So it's not another Google site wherein you could get lost looking at options, but as something that is very specific, we make sure that our content is updated and verified before we show it to our viewers. And we cover a lot of streams, for class 11th and 12th students. Interestingly, for this webinar, we've covered basically engineering, maths, and science. But there are a lot of other streams that we cover and lots of other hundreds of entrance exams.
In fact, what we have covered is just the tip of the iceberg, because there are probably more than 300 entrance exams and related things we are covering. We have today talked only about 15 opportunities out of those. That makes it about how much? 5%?
Yeah, definitely.
So there's another 95% which is there. Plus, of course, the additional things like blogs and regulatory news items, information about fake universities, how to check and track them. The lot of colleges which have been disallowed admission in medical streams this year, which includes a lot of government colleges also, and students were unaware. They have unfortunately taken admissions and now they are left in the lurch. So those are the things also additionally which we keep tracking and inform the patrons.
So this is a portal wherein one can register for free. So all the basic information, so general information and eligibility can be checked by all our subscribers. Of course, there are upgrades available wherein a lot of details about each opportunity can be viewed. We've got very interesting features like exams clashing with, so it's real-time information about which exam does this exam clash with as and when they get announced. So this is something very unique. So are the the kind of structuring that we do for these entrance exams.
And then, of course, in the downloads section, you also get you can also download the previous year question papers and the prospectus and application forms and things like that.
So that was a little bit blurb about ourselves. You could also follow us on our Facebook page, which is My Exam Plan. You could go in there and like it, and so that you get on your wall latest updates from us anytime. In a nutshell, we would like to take the Q&A. If you have any questions regarding today's webinar, any other questions related to admissions and stuff, please you can take those. You could just type it in the Q&A part, and we would try and respond to it. So just starting to respond to some of the questions we've got already. While we talk for the next 5-7 minutes, you could go ahead and put in your Q&A in the section there. So we've got a question which says, what should we do to be a game programmer is what we've been asked. So
in fact, game programming essentially relates to the IT and software development side of it. So basically, you need to get into any good computer programming course. You don't necessarily have to get into an animation program. It could be any general software programming site, and then you need to get into an entity which is into games programming, like you have Nagaro, and there are a lot more other entities. I just mentioned Nagaro. It came from top of my head because I have some friends who are working out there. Not that I have any commercial relations with them. So essentially, you need to get into a course which is into software development. It could be a BSc, it could be a BTech. Interestingly, BIT Ranchi offers a BSc animation program here in Greater Noida as well. I'm not sure if they offer it in BIT Ranchi, but that's one relevant course, for example. And their admission, if I remember correctly, is probably through JEE mains. So that is the kind of programs you need to get into, and then subsequently get into an entity which is into games development and programming. I hope that answers.
Okay, we have a question saying, what ranking in JEE-Advanced for IIST for open category, please? So we would get back to Atharva on that. I will request that I don't have the details offhand at the top of my head.
It's difficult actually to remember all the cutoffs for all the different institutes and branches. We do have the information, and we'll share it with you.
Yeah.
You could probably write to us. It's very much available, but often we don't remember, of course.
Yeah, we have noted your query there, and we would respond to that the question. I have a question which says, how can I watch the section I missed? We would have a recording available at the site, and we will share it to your email ID so that you can view the recording. I hope that satisfies the question. We have another query which says, please inform for students with PCB. I gather the question is about, do you have a webinar of the sort for PCB? Well, we will be conducting another webinar. Just make sure that you are on our Facebook page so that you get that update. This was specifically a teaser for PCM students because as we mentioned, it's beyond IITs. So for PCB, we will definitely be considering.
But I can say, rest assured, there's lot more than just plain MBBS.
Yeah.
Like today we talked about things beyond engineering. There are a lot of things beyond MBBS and BDS which medical students can take up, which we'll share in the webinar.
Yes.
Meanwhile, you could also go through the website and probably see some of those things.
Yeah. So our Facebook page is where you need to be, Neeraj, so that you know about our webinar upcoming date. Will you post the ebook? Very
Yes.
good question. Yes, we will be. So just be patient till I just take up the question. Let me just meanwhile just.
Okay, we'll just put it, share it right away.
Yeah. So we've just shared the ebook so that you all could download all of the webinar. All of the ebooks. The ebook that we've shared is downloadable. If you are not able to, please do write to us at info@myexamplan.com, and we will send you a link again. So we have now enabled the download. You can download those handouts right away. Feel free to share it in your network. Feel free to register at MyExamPlan. As I said, the basic registration is free. You can view all the 300 options without paying a penny there. And feel free to share it in your network as well. I have another question quickly. I have subscribed to the engineering stream. Institutes are for science. Do I need to subscribe to science also?
Because science and maths are We have put science and maths as a separate category, not under engineering. So if you have taken the alerts for engineering streams and you find things in maths and science streams which are not covered, then as of now, yes, you will need to take that also additionally.
So we've got some nice words from people. The excellent webinar. Can we have one such on BBA as well? Yes, yes, we would, and we will keep that posted. I've got another question which says, please share options for commerce students. Yes, again, please like our Facebook page so that you know when our next webinars are scheduled.
Well, let me tell you, commerce today is more promising. I mean, although I'm also an engineer and so is Tarun, and we are talking about engineering and related things, and I'm sure a lot of the audience will also be from the engineering background. Still, I would say, I can still say commerce offers much more opportunities than probably science or engineering offers you today. And maybe in the seminar, once we take up for commerce, probably people will realize that what we are saying is not wrong.
Yeah. And I've got, so we have taken your point about commerce webinar. So I've got another little, okay, thank you. This is a great informative webinar. Thanks for your guidance. Well, you're welcome. And we hope you enjoyed that and share information about what you learned today with others. We've got an interesting question. What is the scope of artificial intelligence? I would say, artificial intelligence, machine learning is the way to go. If you look at, anything that you are touching in your world today, whether it is your Android phone, whether it is, simple day-to-day things like, Facebook and Google, and, you're also seeing big things about, automated, auto-driven cars. Everything is going to run on artificial intelligence. It is the next, curve. It is the crest that you need to ride today. This is the future. The world is going to basically be governed a lot by AI and machines.
Delhi Metro has also started driverless trains.
Yeah,
that's artificial intelligence. And unfortunate on the lighter side, artificial intelligence is increasing and the natural intelligence of humans is going down.
Yeah, I mean, no wonder they take admissions in, far-flung private little-known institutes just because, they thought that the gates have closed. But artificial intelligence, yes, to answer your question, is the way to go. It is extremely interesting, extremely challenging, and evolving. So, if you like computer science, you might as well take artificial intelligence. Institutes for artificial intelligence. And see, artificial intelligence is basically a very specialized program. Typically, 90% of the cases, it is coming in the postgraduate studies in the top institutes, whether it is IITs or IISERs or any of the research institutes. But the one that we shared today, the CLD, Computational Linguistics at IIIT Hyderabad, is a very good starting point for people after class 12 to get into AI and machine learning. Because, as I said, that's tuned to what the industry needs. It is run, the board of the governors in IIIT Hyderabad are all the luminaries there in our industries. So I think you must give it a shot if you're looking at AI to begin with.
That and the core behind artificial intelligence is essentially the data analytics, the mathematical modeling, and statistical analysis. It's not computer science.
Okay, we've got one more, after which we would be running out of time. But the last one I would take here for now. Others you can always keep writing and we'll try and respond to it separately. Is there scope in robotics? See, robotics, definitely it's basically a stream, if I would broadly say, mechatronics. It's basically mechanical and electronics and now a lot of software engineering put in. It has a lot of scope, especially in the postgraduate level. So if someone's taken mechatronics as a branch, which is offered in some of the institutes, or somebody takes computer science from the top institutes, can go for, postgraduate in robotics in some of the institutes.
Any large manufacturing plant today necessarily has robotics involved in it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Maruti in Gurgaon has 3,000 robots doing assembly. Unbelievable. 3,000 robots of the car that is coming out of 2 out of 3 homes today is involving robotics. So that's they have replaced 3,000 people over a period of the last 7 years and made it robotized, right? Running out of time, we just take a quick little poll for you. Be very frank, so that it would help us improve our performance and the delivery that we do. Meanwhile, I do hope the handouts were downloadable. Yeah. And in case any of you faced any problems, do write to us at info@myexamplan.com, and we will help you get a downloadable copy. The download itself is quite detailed for each of these opportunities. We had to live with a limited time. All right, so we close the poll. Last couple of seconds. Okay, so we would be not able to take. We got another 8-9 questions. So we probably will respond to them offline. So thank you for attending, and thank you for your patience and hearing us out. We do hope that it served its purpose that it was intended to.
Thank you so much.
With that, have a good night, all of you. Thank you. And the recording also we would share with all of you on the link where you could hear it.
Thank you so much.